What is going on, Headliner Nation? Welcome to the Week 4 Tailgate Show. That's right, made it through another week of content. Now, I hope you guys had a great week as well, and now we're heading into the weekend where hopefully you can kick back, relax, take your shoes off, put your feet up on the couch, maybe not only have one cold one, but two cold ones here in Week 4. Now, like usual today, we're going to be going over some of that late end of week news. We'll see if there's any weather concerns in the matchups here this weekend. I'm going to announce the winner of the signed full-size Keenan Allen helmet. You got to stay tuned for that. And then you better believe we have our next installment of Mack and the Medic and some Friday Flyers. But just like always in this show, there's timestamps down below so you can watch whichever sections you're looking for. But let's go ahead and start it off here with Jonathan Taylor, because a lot of people don't know what to do with JT, and his time to return is coming pretty freaking close here. Now, once he's removed off the PUP list here in the near future, the Colts are going to have 21 days to add him to the active roster. So technically, it could be another 3 weeks. Technically, do they wait all 21 days? We really have no idea. Everyone outside of Jim Irsay probably has no idea. But we do know that this is still a relationship that's fractured. Jonathan Taylor hasn't been there the first 4 games of the season. We know he's still at odds with the front office. He doesn't want to be there. They're not going to accept any trades for him. No teams are really giving up that much for Jonathan Taylor due to the running back market being what it is. But we are drawing super close, and if you've held on to Jonathan Taylor this long, you might as well keep on holding for another week or two to see what happens. We did get some good news though there in Indianapolis. Anthony Richardson cleared concussion protocol. He will be back under center this week, which is great. We'd love to see him on the field. What about Miles Sanders? Still technically questionable with a groin injury, but they're saying they are quote unquote optimistic, is Frank Wright, that he actually plays and returns this week. The biggest issue here is always starting a player who's dealt with an injury and barely practiced. But then on the other side of that, you can see what the Lions did with David Montgomery on Thursday night. They didn't care that he'd missed some time. They didn't care that he came off of an injury. They fed that dude the football. So it's really one of those instances, how much of a risk are you willing to take by starting a player who's been injured all week long? Especially a running back with a soft tissue injury that can flare up at any time. There's just going to be a lot of risks surrounding Miles Sanders. Austin Eckler, he was spotted at practice today. He's still questionable, but he still has a noticeable limp and a brace on his ankle. Honestly, by looking at the video that I saw, I'll be extremely shocked if he plays this weekend. And if he is active, I'll be even more shocked if he plays that many snaps. But we also had some huge news here that just dropped this afternoon, and it's the reinstatement of Jameson Williams. The NFL has changed their policies on gambling, and now all of a sudden, Jameson Williams is expected to return next week. He wasn't supposed to be back until at least week 7. All of a sudden, week 5, Jameson Williams will be on the field for the Detroit Lions. So much hype surrounding Jameson Williams and what he could be in this offense. He could be exactly what it is they need. Now, we've seen Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond kind of fill in a role here for the first few weeks of the season, but adding Jameson Williams opposite of Amon-Ra St. Brown could take this offense to the next level. Does this mean we automatically start Jameson Williams going forward? No, we haven't seen this guy play very much football in the NFL, and as excited as we are, we're not going to overreact and just expect huge things right out the gate. But I'm just super pumped to see him back out on the field here next week. I didn't really like the suspension for Jameson Williams. I don't know, maybe you did, maybe you thought it was warranted. What he did really wasn't illegal. It's where he did it at, which is such a stupid rule anyway, but it is what it is. I don't make the rules. How about Deshaun Watson? He's questionable to play, and a lot of people are expecting him not to be able to go. However, he came out himself and said he's going to be ready to go for the Baltimore matchup. A little bit worrisome there, being that it's a shoulder injury, and even one sack could push him out of the game and really hurt a lot of fantasy lineups if you're depending on him as your starting quarterback this week. How about the Dallas Cowboys? Their offensive line is banged up. They've already ruled out left tackle Tyron Smith, and still Zach Martin, Tyler Biadasz, they're still questionable to play. That would be a huge loss if they're missing 3 parts of their offensive line. We do have some good news though in San Francisco, where Brandon Ayuk was back at practice on Friday. However, Debo is not. He's still not practicing. And as much as we would like to see a full season of Debo on the field, the dude just runs so hard that he beats himself up every single time that he's out there. There's a good chance we don't have him here this week. And then lastly, Saquon Barkley. He's still limited in practice. He's still questionable to play. And honestly, another one of those guys that I really don't expect to play on Monday Night Football. And that's the biggest risk right there. If you're reliant on Saquon Barkley, you need to be sure to have an insurance policy that also plays Monday night just in case. But that'll do it here for the end of the week news. Let's go ahead and look at the weather. And honestly, right now, bring it in, because right now, we all need to keep our fingers crossed because the weather report doesn't show any rain. There's nothing out there as of right now that shows anything greater than a 19% chance of rain. That game, the London game between Atlanta and Jacksonville. So right now, most of the slate looks pretty good as far as weather goes, which is something we haven't been able to say in weeks. So that's a good thing. No weather that should really affect a lot here in week 4. Now, how about we give away the signed Keenan Allen helmet? Now, maybe you didn't even see the helmet. Did you not watch the wide receiver rankings video this week? Oh, you're telling on yourself, because in that video, I showed the people that we have a signed full-size Keenan Allen helmet here that I said I would give away if that video got 2,000 likes. Wasn't even 24 hours later, the video's over 2,000 likes, so let's go ahead and give this bad boy away. But don't forget, we're gonna be doing giveaways like this all season long, every single week, and we can't do it without our friends over at Pristine Auction. If you haven't signed up for a free account yet, you need to do so now. That's the only way you're gonna be eligible for any giveaway we have from here on out anyway, so you might as well get it done with. Just be sure to use referral code headliners when you sign up so that they know that we sent you. They see people going to their site, participating in auctions, winning auctions. They keep giving us more and more stuff to give away. So definitely be involved there on pristineauction.com, link down below in the description. But the winner of this helmet is going to be, I have the name right here that was randomly selected, Frank Gordon 7906. Congratulations, Frank. Send me an email to info@thefantasyheadliners.com so I can get you hooked up with that awesome Keenan Allen full-size helmet. We got more coming up next week. I believe Kyle has something in his running back start sit video that you do not want to miss out on. But now the time has come for the next segment of Mack and the Med.
Yo, what's going on, Headliner Nation? It's your boy, the Doc, and I'm back with Mack. It's Mack, it's the Medic, it's the Tailgate Show, and we are ready to answer some of your questions because last week we asked for questions and we got quite a few of them. So I picked out a few of my favorites, and Mack and I are going to talk about them here today. Now, first question, Mack, how you doing, man?
Doing wonderful, man. I hope you are. It's week 4, baby. You know how I go.
That's right. That's right. We're excited about it, Mack. First question, we're just going to jump right into it. I got Rory Miller, 9573. Love the video, Headliners. You know we love you too, Rory. My questions for Friday's show week is, who do you guys think will be this week's fantasy leader at each position? Sleeper picks only. You got some picks, Mack? I can give you mine.
Yeah. Go ahead. Roll with yours first.
All right. So I'm going with it's sleeper picks only. So I went with guys that I think have good matchups that are also a little bit underrated. Quarterback, I'm going Brock Purdy. Good matchup. I think he's got a chance to hang 3, maybe 4 touchdowns in this matchup. Running back, I got Kyron Williams, a guy that's put up 2 good games in the first 3 weeks. I think he's got a chance to score again this week, maybe a couple times against a pretty weak front line. Wide receiver, I got Adam Thielen. I'm going way deep with this one. Adam Thielen looking good with Andy Dalton last week. I don't expect Bryce Young to be back, so Adam Thielen going to be my sleeper wide receiver pick. And then last up at tight end, there's not really any good sleeper tight end, so I just went with Sam Laporta. The kid's been balling out. I think he's going to have another great opportunity to score a touchdown this week, and really that's all it takes to be the sleeper tight end for me. What about you, Mack?
Okay, so let me start with the tight end since we ended with the tight end. You know,
I know you always like to start with the tight ends, man.
Yes, but that's a whole nother show. But I want to talk about a guy just briefly, or I'm just going to mention him, but I will talk about him in my Friday Flyers. But his name, Gerald Everett. Basically, okay. I really like his. He's got a sneaky appeal about him especially with Mike Williams going down. So I like Gerald Everett at the tight end position. Wide receiver, I think Zay Flowers might have a good week this week.
You love you some Zay Flowers, man.
Man, Zay Flowers is that dude, bro. And I don't even like saying that because I'm a Steeler fan, but it is what it is. You know,
it hurts a little bit.
Just a smidgen.
Just a smidge.
So running back, that's a tough one, but I had to go with Alvin Kamara simply because, you know, we hadn't talked about him in weeks.
Yeah.
And the dude is coming back. And I think what they're going to do is try to really get him, you know, injected into this offense, man. Just inject a little life into it. And, you know, he's capable of doing it. You know, he's still a good back. He's right at his prime. You know, he's a great pass catcher. So I think he's going to put up some, you know, decent PPR numbers. Yeah,
for sure. What about your quarterback, Mac?
All right. And my quarterback sleeper, and I know people might be like, what? But Josh Dobbs, man. I'm really impressed with Josh Dobbs.
Okay.
And I know he's a former Steeler, yes. But look, the past couple of weeks, dude, he's put up some decent numbers against pretty good defenses, and they're going against another one in San Francisco this week. So if he can come out and show up against these guys, Kyler Murray might be he might be in trouble.
Yeah, I don't think they plan on Kyler Murray coming back this year, if I do say so myself. But Josh Dobbs might be playing just good enough to cost them a number one pick. So they got to be careful. If they keep letting him cook, we could be in trouble in Arizona. Now, next question's from Manuel M61. Mac, to Mac and the Doc, what would your top 5 handcuffs be? Thinking handcuffs after the Chubb injury. So he did not specify position, but I'm going to go with running backs here, Mac. And I only really had 3 that I liked. Maybe you can get a couple more names. Okay. But the first one, Tyler Algier. I know he had a great first game, scored some touchdowns, but Bijan Robinson's going to be the guy there until or unless something happens to him. We're hoping nothing happens to him because I like watching that kid play. He is electric, but Tyler Algier could have a big year if something were to happen to him. And we're really basically anytime you're picking a handcuff up, you're kind of banking on something happening to the rookie. And with rookie running backs specifically, we've seen quite a few rookie running backs end up with major injuries their first year in the NFL. Scary trend there, but I'm hoping that doesn't happen to Bijan. Kenny Gainwell, I think we can all agree that he has lost the starting job for Philadelphia, but if something were to happen, DeAndre Swift, a guy that does get hurt often, Kenny Gainwell is going to slide right back into a decent workload and probably a top 24 back. And I'm seeing him get dropped in quite a few leagues as well. So if you got a space on your bench, grab you some Kenny Gainwell. And then Elijah Mitchell, another guy that's got some injury issues, but he's got CMC in front of him, and CMC is getting worked hard right now. They said they're going to work Elijah Mitchell in more. We haven't seen it yet. So there's a chance that his workload could go up, but there's also a chance that he's going to need something to happen to CMC before he gets a chance. But what about you? You got a couple more guys, Mac, that you like?
Yeah. So I'll end it with 2 other guys. My first guy is Jaylen Warren, of course.
Yeah.
To me, he's really the starter. He should be. He's the more efficient back. You know, he's better at pass pro. They have him in at every third down. So they trust him in those critical moments of the game. So anything was ever happened to Najee, Jaylen Warren can come in and be, you know, a bell cow because he's got, you know, the total skill set. So I love Jaylen Warren. And last, I like Zach Charbonnet. Dude, did you see that run he had this past week? And he trucked that, I can't remember the safety's name, man. It was pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, he's gonna keep getting work. We're gonna head into some more questions. All right, now I asked a few guys on the Headliner Nation YouTube video last week for some questions, but I also threw it out to Headliner Nation over on Discord. If you want to become a member of the exclusive Headliner Nation on Discord, make sure you hit that little join button down below. Sign up, get access to our Discord. It's the best way to ask me, Mac, Jake, Kyle, Taylor, any question that you want to ask us during the week, it's the easiest way to get our attention. Join the Discord. We got all sorts of great conversations happening at Headliner Nation. We got a lot of dudes in there that love to help other people too. Really feel like it's the best place to talk about fantasy football in all of the interwebs. But Mac, we got a question from TJ, the Trey Liquor. TJ and Trey, shout out to those boys. We actually met them in person, came to the Fantasy Football Expo, got to hang out with them in person. And Mac, I will say, if you get to hang out with us in person, Jake hooks you up. Jake loves to spoil Headliner Nation when they are going to come spoil us. But TJ has a question. It's pretty simple. What are the Bears doing?
Effing up, basically.
Effing up?
Yeah, and I'm trying to keep it clean because, you know, we're a family show, you know, but
Bear down, F up?
Exactly. Yeah, man, it's a mess, you know. And if they don't correct it soon, I think it's gonna really affect that young quarterback, man, Justin Fields.
Yeah.
You don't want a guy like that, man, you know, to start losing confidence in his skill set and his abilities. I think it's just the coaching, man. It's just they're not putting him in the right system. They're not doing the things to accentuate what they have. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's a mix of, he wasn't really their guy. This coaching staff came in and they're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. I mean, Justin Fields really, I think he showed more as a passer in college than he's gotten a chance to show in the NFL, but I do think he works the best in a specific type of system where he can be a little bit more creative and gets to use his legs more often. I feel like this year, especially, they're kind of forcing him to stay in the pocket, and you can see it, man. He's just not comfortable there. I think the answer is probably a total reset. I think Justin Fields needs to go somewhere else. I don't think he's happy there. I don't think the coaching staff really has gotten it done or showed enough to even justify them staying. I guess you give them one more year if they end up with the number 1 overall pick, get a new quarterback, send Justin somewhere where maybe he's got a better chance to succeed with a little bit less pressure. But yeah, the Bears, they're a mess, man. They're an absolute mess. But we got to head on to Rob Jones 007, big James Bond fan. Appreciate the 007 there. Mac and the Doc, for both of you guys, who is your early fantasy MVP?
Well, for me, I'm just going to keep it simple. It's basically the whole Miami Dolphins offense.
Yeah.
I mean, we hadn't seen anything like this probably since, the Tyreek Hill days back in Kansas City when they had Kareem Hunt, Pat, Tyreek, and Kelsey.
Yeah.
Now you got kind of something similar to that with those weapons. You got about 4 of those guys already in the top 12 weekly, in PPR formats.
Yeah.
So I say it's the Miami Dolphins offense, man. They looking crazy.
The stat I saw this week, Mac, was they went through and they measured the fastest times on the field, like how fast guys are moving. Top 6 fastest times, all Miami Dolphins players. 3 times Raheem Mostert, 1 time or 2 times, I think, Tyreek Hill. We know he's fast, but Devon A-Chan, he does not want to be called A-Chain, which, hey, more power to him. I guess if you drop a 50 burger in fantasy, you can get called whatever you want. And another speedster, man. I mean, and that was without Jalen Waddle. People forget Jalen Waddle didn't even play. He's quick as well. I mean, I don't see how you defend that offense. Yeah, I mean, I was going to say Raheem Mostert, but just because he was cheap, but I'll switch it up here. I'm going to go Keenan Allen. I think he has a chance to be a top 5 guy now. Mike Williams is hurt. He's done for the year. We could see Keenan Allen put an absolute monster season together if he can stay healthy. Already the wide receiver 1 actually in fantasy points right now in PPR formats. He's got a chance to, if he doesn't set the record, he's going to be close to setting the record for targets going forward because he's going to have a boatload of them. And I did have Rob Jones did throw me a question only, Mac. I'm sorry. But he did ask if I saw Cooper Kupp coming back at full strength when he returns. I don't think they'll let him return unless he's at full strength. So I don't know if it'll be in week 5. I'm hoping it will be. But I don't think that they will let him come back. I think they're playing well enough without him right now that they're not going to risk it with Cooper Kupp. All right, last question, Mac, from Dirty B. Dirty B, Can we get a dive into East Coast food and beverages for tailgating? So I'll make it simpler, Mac. I just want to know, like, what's your favorite Sunday meal? What do you like to eat on Sunday while you're watching football?
Man, so I'm a little untraditional when it comes to that, even though my name is the Lone Boner, right? Of course, wings, that's easy. For me, it's a ribeye steak.
Oh,
man,
my goodness, fine dining.
Hey, you know how we do down here in North Carolina.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't know you was, dang, Mac. I need a raise. Mac's over here eating ribeyes on Sunday. Dang.
Hey. Yeah, that's my go-to right there. Ribeyes. I'm not a drinker, so I don't really partake on those spirits. But for me, man, you know, cheer wine. You know, that's a North Carolina staple. So I love me some cheer wine.
Yeah, well, I'm actually in the Midwest, so I don't really count myself on the East Coast or West Coast. I like wings, but honestly, I don't eat a lot during the football games on Sunday. A lot of times we're going to church in the morning. We're going to eat with my in-laws that morning. You know, games start at noon. I usually get home about 12:30. I'm already full. So I don't really eat a whole lot during the day when I'm watching football. But wings, if I had to choose, some wings. And I really don't drink a lot as well. So I'm a big fan of lemonade, though. So anything that's got lemonade in it, I'm pretty much in, or lemon flavored. So I guess we're not drinkers, Mac. That's just not how we roll.
Hey, but we're still fun dudes, you know?
We're still fun dudes. Hey, you can have a lot of fun without drinking. So I appreciate Headliner Nation on Discord sending us some questions. Mac, hope you have a great week 4, buddy. You know, I appreciate these talks. And I've gotten a lot of comments the last few weeks. I think some people don't really get the show yet. This show is not all about just in-depth fantasy football stuff. It's the tailgate show. It's more relaxed. One guy put it great in the comments last week. It's like you're having a conversation. Our goal is like you're having a conversation at the barbershop. I mean, we got so much fantasy football content on this channel. Sometimes you just want to lay back a little bit and just talk about the big stuff. And luckily, we had already committed to doing questions because I didn't get to ask you about Taylor Swift. So we will not be talking about Taylor Swift. But next week, Mac, we got the return of a legendary segment here at the Fantasy Headliners. Show Us Your Teams is back, baby. Me and Jake been doing Show Us Your Teams the last couple years. You guys know the drill. If you've watched this channel, got to be handwritten, got to be submitted before we record on Wednesday night. You guys you got 5 days. You can tag us on Twitter. You can put it in the Discord. You can email us, info@thefantasyheadliners.com. I don't care how you get us the picture of your handwritten team, but next week, Mac and I, we are judging some fantasy football teams. But Mac, we got to go, man. I'm getting out of here. Appreciate you, brother. We're getting out. See ya.
Awesome, fellas. Appreciate it. But now Mac's pulling double duty. Hashtag double duty in the comment section if you enjoy Mac's Friday Flyers that are coming up now.
All right, Headliner Nation, what it do, baby? Week 4 is here with the Friday Flyers. So look, these are guys that you can stash away and put on your bench if you have availability. So without further ado, let's get to it. All right, the first player I want to talk about is Gerald Everett. Now look, everybody heard about what happened to Mike Williams, and we knew it was going to happen. I mean, you know, we don't wish injuries on anybody, but between him and Keenan, you know, these guys, it's hard for them to stay healthy, right? So the situation is now you got vacated targets left from Mike Williams, and they're going to be spread abroad, you know, throughout that team. But I think the integral part in this whole situation, especially with Kellen Moore's offense, he utilizes the tight end. Well, this past week, Gerald Everett caught 6 of 6 targets for 30 yards against the Vikings. So he's kind of that underneath safety blanket that Justin Herbert is going to look for. Now, again, Parham, they're going to split. But I think with Gerald Everett, he's got a high upside. Again, he's a very, very athletic tight end. He can get out in space. He's got great hands. So he's a good target for you guys to, you know, kind of take a look at and see how they're going to divvy up the remainder of these vacated targets that Mike Williams left. Next up, I want to talk about Keaton Mitchell from Baltimore. So the undrafted free agent out of East Carolina, he's coming off the IR this week. There was a lot of buzz, centered around this dude in the off season and going into training camp. And, they were talking about how good he was. He's one of those smaller backs, but he's got 4.3 speed. So listen, we're living in a day now where speed is king. We see it. We've seen it in different phases of the game. A lot of these teams, they get these speedy guys, especially running backs. And we saw how good that it happened just this past week with Devon Achane in Miami. So you got that same style, that same type of back who can get out in space and create mismatches. I think Keaton Mitchell could come into this Baltimore Ravens offense and just plug and play. Now, I'm not saying he's going to, get the whole full workload or anything like that. But with all these injuries that's going on in Baltimore, in the running back room, with this guy coming back, he has a potential, to be a stud. So you want to go ahead and try to get him and just have him on your bench so that way you don't have to fight waiver wire week 5. I'm telling you. So keep your eyes out for Keaton Mitchell. All right, and last but not least, I want to talk about Rico Dowdle from the Dallas Cowboys. So look, at 5'11", 215 pounds, Rico is the perfect insurance policy for Tony Pollard in the event that something happens. Now, again, like I said, we don't wish injuries or anything like that, but we understand the running back landscape and what typically happens, especially when you got a running back that, has been nicked up in the past and has a tendency to continue to get, hurt or banged up. So Rico Dowdle is one that, he came in last week. He had 4 rushes for 21 yards, but the receptions is where it really intrigued me. He had 3 receptions for 25 yards in a tub. So he fits that zone run scheme that Dallas likes to use. And again, like I said, he's a plug and play situation in the event if Tony Pollard goes down, Rico Dowdle can come in. And I'm not saying he's going to give you Tony Pollard like numbers, but the floor is very safe, especially within this offense. They're going to use him similar to Tony Pollard, like I said, in the event if something happens. So I would go out there, like I said, stash him away. And, especially those Tony Pollard owners, you want to have, a great insurance policy in the event if something happens. All right, guys, that's it for the Friday Flyers. Again, we'll be back next week. Week 5, baby. Hey, the season is rolling along pretty swift. So we're going to have some more gas for you guys. Hey, again, like I said, go out, check these people out, plug them up. You never know what'll happen. Until then, y'all be safe, be blessed. Peace.
All right, but that's going to do it here for the Week 4 tailgate. Hopefully you enjoyed today's show. Hopefully you can kick back and relax this weekend and we get some good football to watch. Which game are you looking forward to the most? I'd be lying if I didn't say it was Buffalo-Miami. I would love to see a back and forth matchup between both those teams. Would be a lot of fun to watch. But like I said, hopefully you guys get to enjoy your weekend here this week. We greatly appreciate all the support you've shown us here over the last month of the season, the first month of the season. This season is absolutely flying by. But for the next 14 weeks, we have you absolutely covered with everything you need to make your fantasy football decisions. Like I said, have a great weekend. I'm going to get out of here for myself, but be sure to do your part to make the world a better place.
I'm a headline.